Hi there. In this video, we'll be covering how much money can you make from writing a book. Lots of authors focus heavily on book sales as a key revenue driver, but in this video, I'll explain why you should rethink book sales. By the end of this video, you will learn the revenue potential for your book and why money isn't the only benefit in book writing. And stay tuned until the end of the video for a free opportunity. Let's dive in. It's been really interesting for me to work on books that have driven revenue. And, there's been a couple that really come to mind. One of them was a book that went viral, a book that drew viral attention out of nowhere, and overnight basically sold 14,000 copies within a span of a week or two. That's obviously one way to make money off of a book, is to generate lots and lots and lots of copies. But it's not that easy, and it's not always exact. You don't know when you're going to go viral. You don't know if your book's going to really find its audience. So there's an element of luck, an element of, and I don't want to say luck specifically. I look at luck as putting yourself in the opportunity to succeed. You can get lucky to buy the lottery ticket, but you bought the lottery ticket. So there's an element of luck involved. Luck as, putting yourself in the right position. But you don't know when the viral gods are going to shine down on you and give you an opportunity. You don't know when that's going to happen and if that's going to happen. And if you're thinking about it in terms of just selling as many copies as possible, you're leaving opportunities on the table. So you think about the viral book that sold 14,000 copies in a couple weeks, and you think about a book that sold maybe 200 copies. You wouldn't assume that these two books were equally successful. 14,000 copies, 200 copies. But they have been on a financial level because the book that sold 200 copies had a sales funnel attached to it. And that sales funnel had high value opportunities where people were interested in reading the book and then signing up to work with the author as a client of their company. And those people, those leads, those clients, those opportunities ended up spending $25,000, $50,000, $75,000 a piece. So 2, 3, 4 of those people come through, and now you're at a six-figure revenue for a book that only sold 200 copies versus selling 14,000 copies of the book that went viral. So it's interesting to look at the opportunities that are created. That's why I think it's so important for us to rethink book sales. When authors work with me, so much of the time they focus on revenue opportunity from book sales. And then they never connect a funnel. They never connect a sales funnel to their book. They never have other offerings to choose from. They're simply telling a story. And that's where the book ends. The book ends with the story. There's no next step. There's no next chapter. There's no add-on thing. There's no call to action. If the call to action is just to learn something, yeah, okay, there's nothing wrong with learning something, but we're focused here on revenue potential, so that's why we're in this mindset. We need to be thinking about a great call to action leading to a funnel of some kind, whether it's email generation, whether it's, signing up for something on your website in which the user gives their information to you and you send them a free PDF download or a free book or something. It could be a low cost or no cost item. Those are great opportunities because now you're building your network. Now you're building your connections. Now you have a base of people through which you can reach out to. You can email them. You can, have them, you have this base of subscribers and you can reach out to them and you can talk to them directly. And, they're in your funnel, which is a great thing. When you have this offering on your website and people can sign up for your email list and, work with you, it just builds this network of influence, of connection, of growth. And it lets people know that you're up and running, that you're doing something. Maybe their friends might want to work with you. Maybe it's not them directly. Maybe it's somebody else. It's about letting people know that you're in this space and that you're the person to go to. If they need help, if they need guidance, if they need support, you're right there. And they are in your funnel and they're always in your funnel and you can keep pitching to them and sending messages to them and wanting not just to get them to work with you, but to be a part of this big community that you're building. A lot of times with sales, it's not the first time that somebody reaches out to you or crosses paths with your message that they sign up to work with you. It's 7 or 8 times. It's the repetition. It's the habits forming. It's that visibility again and again and again. They say, oh my gosh, I need to reach out to them. I need to work with them. It's the repetition. And the repetition is what comes through when you have these emails, when you can send to people directly and you're reaching out to them little by little, day by day, week by week. There's so many opportunities. Those don't come through if you don't have a call to action in your book. Those don't come through if you're just focused on telling a story in your book and there's no next step. There's no call to action. And there's so many things that can come through, opportunities financially that can come through your book. A lot of times it's speaking engagements. Many of my clients that I work with as a ghostwriter, the authors I work with, they are public speakers and they will go and travel to places and get paid tens of thousands of dollars to give a speech. So you go back to that six-figure revenue we were talking about. If you give 5 speeches and they're paid $20,000 at each speech, that's $100,000. Now you've generated six-figure revenue from your book. And that success piles on. You go to some speeches and you get invited to other speeches. Doors open. The doors continue to open. And you could see these doors opening for years and years to come because of this thing that you wrote and published 2, 3, 5 years ago. This is a long-term marketing asset for you. This isn't just a quick hit flash in the pan. This is something bigger. You are building something bigger through your book. And because of the fact that you're connecting it to a sales funnel and you have services and offerings and you have opportunities to reach out to people and you are, taking this next step with the reader, the person that's in your funnel, there's so much opportunity on the opposite side of that. But within this process, it's not all about money. That's what's interesting about it. Like, money's obviously great. Like, it's nice to have money. There's something deeper at play with books because in order to write a great book, in order to really dig deep within yourself and unlock your story and bring it forward, there's healing and there's greatness and there's reflection and there's progress through this all. So obviously we're talking about financial windfall, but what about the life windfall? What about living a better life? What about getting to the next level in your life? What about happiness? What about letting the past go and moving forward? What about helping to reach people who are where you were a couple years ago? When you can do that and you can uplift the next generation of people, this could be a business book, this could be something else. When you can uplift people and you can sense this feeling inside of you of happiness, of glee, of jubilation, of having an impact, of living your purpose, the feelings that can come from that, you can't put a dollar sign on that. I'd love to be able to because, being able to feel it myself, like, it's so empowering. It's so awesome. But you can't touch that. There's no money. There's no amount of money that can make you feel that way. This is something deeper. This is something profound. And by you unlocking your purpose, not only are you creating revenue opportunities, you're creating closure, healing, and growth opportunities to be your best self. So I definitely want you to rethink not just revenue potential, but the potential of your book. There's so much potential in your story and in your message and taking ownership of that. And if you can take ownership of your message and share it with the world, you don't even know what the things that are going to happen. You don't know the closures. You don't know the doors opening. You don't know the opportunities on the opposite side of that. So keep an open mind, but be vigilant, keep moving forward because your message matters and there could be so much opportunity if you finish it. If you want to learn more about how much money can you make from writing a book, I definitely think you should check out another video I recorded. I'll link to it on the screen. It's called How to Start Writing a Book About Your Life. In that video, I really talk about the early steps to book writing, some of the planning phases that can come into play, book foundation work, and then some writing tips to help you build momentum. Remember, a good book can change your life. I'm Dan Good. Thanks for watching.